It is finally time to share our birth story. We went to 41 weeks pregnant. The day after my 41 weeks, we were supposed to have an ultrasound really early in the morning. So I had asked my younger sister if she wanted to spend the night and watch my older boys in the morning. They were different than what I had been having. So I actually downloaded a contraction app and I looked at my app and I'm like 4 to 7 minutes. Not painful at all, just tightening. We were doing dinner, we made steak for dinner. And I'm just like, okay, well, I'm not gonna call anybody because as soon as I tell anybody, they're gonna stop, right? So lo and behold, I texted my doula and I said, hey, heads up. As soon as I texted her, they spaced out. I had a fun time outside, came back inside, put my older ones to bed, sat on the couch, and they picked up again. I even started some laundry. I just did a little straightening up, dishes, just in case. They were still kind of that 4 to 7 minutes, but they were not painful at all. We ended up going to bed around 12, and all my text messages with my doula was really discouraging, like, oh, they're stalling, oh, they're stalling, oh, they're picking up, oh, they're stalling. I laid down at 12 and something changed because they went from not being strong to when I would have one, it would wake me up. 12:30, 12:45, they started actually doubling in intensity. And that's a big deal because my last baby, he was born in less than 2 hours, start to finish. I texted her and I said, hey, they're doubling. I really can't sleep through them anymore. Around that time, she's like, okay, like I'm coming. If you want the midwife here, call them. My doula made it over in less than 10 minutes. The midwife, my mom, and my mother-in-law all arrived an hour later. Went from being that 5-ish minutes apart to 10 plus minutes apart. My doula suggested, why don't you and Adam go lay on the bed? My husband and I, we laid down in bed. I used a peanut ball and I wanted to make sure I was staying hydrated and eating. I ended up coming out here for a little bit and laboring on my ball. My doula was giving me counter pressure during contractions. They were strong enough that was very helpful. That is the only way to get through it. Hands and knees, rock back and forth, move your hips. That's the way to go. They had been filling the birth pool. They were at this point trying to keep it warm. Everybody thought I was gonna kind of go quickly, and I did too. My doula, she's amazing. She's like, why don't you guys go back to the bedroom? As soon as I got to that bedroom, something changed. Transition, I guess. During this first 3/4 of labor, I did have to go to the bathroom very frequently. Every time I would have a contraction on the toilet, it was intense. Dilation station, they're not kidding. Going back to laying on the bed, each contraction, I would be side laying with my peanut ball and I would have to get off of it and get on my hands and knees and rock. And my sweet husband was next to me and he'd give me counter pressure during each contraction. And in my mind, my water hadn't broken. They're not close. This is not like any of my other labors. I have a long time to go. I was dozing off, like kind of having a dream and then being woken up by my pressure and being like, oh, here's another one, get up. I did try to keep the low groan because that's what really opens everything up. I knew I didn't want to lose control and, you know, stay low and roar like an animal if you need to. But I definitely could feel the vocals getting louder. My doula suggested, do you think it's going to be better to start laboring in the water? And I was all for it. But I was nervous. I was really nervous about getting in the water because I knew that sometimes that can stall labor if you're not close. My bedroom to my living room is less than 30 steps. And I remember telling her, this isn't fun anymore. I was just so tired. Like, that was the point. I love labor. I love birth. I love postpartum. I'm a weirdo, okay? Like, I love the whole journey. And it's not pain. At this point, it's really not pain. It is pressure. It's intensity. But I wouldn't call it pain. So it's progress. You're about to meet your baby. So you can imagine how I was feeling walking from my bedroom to my living room. My water still hasn't broken. My contractions are still really far apart, but they are intense. Like, you have to work, breathe through them, through each one. I was constantly praying the whole time. They were hard. And I don't remember exactly how I was feeling. I knew I wasn't in that, okay, I give up mindset. I was just in the, I'm really praying that this is it mindset. Because if it's not, Lord, I need all of your strength. And we got to the living room, and as soon as I got near the pool, something changed. And I don't know if it was me mentally, it was all God. They came closer, so much closer together, so much stronger. I only had a few contractions before he was born at this point. And I had one outside the pool, and at this point, I still had to kneel and rock and receive the counter pressure. And I remember feeling that pressure. And I don't know if it was me just seeing the pool that my body was like, whew, you're ready, you're safe, you're safe. And because your body does, you can get triggered so quickly. And as soon as your body recognizes that you are safe and you are ready to have this baby, you are about to have that baby. So get ready. I was nervous because my second flew out. And when I say flew out, I felt that fetal ejection response. I really couldn't control how quickly he was born. It was head, shoulders, body, right into the water. It hurt. It was painful. I'm not gonna lie. And I remembered that. I wanted to slow things down this time. And before getting into the pool, I had a 15-second sob on my husband's shoulder. And I think it was just all the emotions because this baby and my second, they're not far apart at all. So you remember a lot, and it was intense knowing that, you're about to do this again. You don't know how long you're going to be in this pool. You don't know how long you're going to be pushing. I get in the pool. The water feels absolutely amazing. My birth team did a beautiful job at preparing it. The water temperature was perfect. I remember saying that too, like, wow, this feels amazing. And of course, because it feels amazing, my body relaxed and my body is like, baby, you're out, come on out. The first 2 contractions I resisted. I felt that pressure. I absolutely could have pushed, and I was just very tight and my legs were tight, and my voice went up, and I remember my doula reminding me low moans because I wanted to be reminded of that. Keep those low, and I instantly changed them back low, and it made a world of a difference. So the next contraction, I knew I wanted to feel his head. And I should mention, the first contraction that I resisted on, I did put my hand there and I felt nothing. So that was very discouraging. I thought maybe I wasn't at 10 centimeters. Again, not getting checked. The next one, I put my hand there and I felt a head. And his head was born very, very slowly. And I felt everything, and I loved that. I absolutely loved that. The break between the head being born and the shoulders being born, no pain. Absolutely no pain. It felt amazing. Just that calm weight. My water still hadn't broken as far as I'm aware. I never felt that gush. The coolest thing is, with my second baby and the head being born, I didn't push. It just involuntarily is coming. But I got to push the shoulders out, which this is going to sound really crazy unless you've been in my shoes. Being able to have control out of an entire pregnancy and labor so far where you have not had control, being able to control and push those shoulders out, that was the most empowering feeling I think I've ever felt. That was incredible. I felt like a wild animal. And his shoulders were born, and my doula did describe the waters being broken at that point. And he did have meconium in his sac, and so I'm very blessed that he is healthy and was healthy and perfect. He was born into the water, and his little sac was floating in the water too. That was kind of a cool thing to see. That was it, right to mama's chest, and he cried right away, and completely hands off. My birth team is amazing. It couldn't have been any more perfect. Immediately after birth is my favorite part. We stayed in the water for a while. I don't know exactly how long. I remember a couple times thinking I should get out, and everybody was like, no, you're okay. Like, he's fine. You're fine. You're comfortable. He's warm. He was already nursing. He latched right away. He was 8 pounds, 4 ounces, and my 2 previous babies were 6'10" and 6'12". So significantly bigger than my past pregnancies, but I would consider that an easier delivery, even though it was a longer labor. The active labor part, I would say, was like less than 2 hours. We moved to the couch next to the pool, which was lovely. We walked to the bathroom, and as soon as I sat on the toilet and relaxed my body again, it came out. We then made it back to the couch to rest. My midwife did notice I had a very small tear, but she told me it will heal without any stitch. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you for being here.